Hi guys, Johnny Good here for Real Home Studio. Today taking a look at KONSOL from Analog Obsession. And just before we dive straight in, I want to remind you guys to please like and subscribe, and if you've got something to say, please do drop it in the comments box below. So before I kick things off, big thank you to Andre Coutinho, who shared his Mixbus flow on my Mixbus video a week or two ago, and in there was KONSOL by Analog Obsession. It was a plugin I wasn't aware of, so I absolutely wanted to go and check it out, and here we are. Really pleased to have, I must say. This is a very cool plugin. Again, really nice and straightforward, something I really like about a lot of these Analog Obsession plugins. Very easy to use and get into and get good results from. We've got an input and an output. We've got a low and a high as well. We've got three different KONSOL modes, grey, blue and black. We've got a transformer in and out. I kind of think of that like a colour switch. You know, you can just play around with it in and out, see what sounds best to you. And you've got a track and a bus mode as well. That's about it. As with all Analog Obsession plugins, or most of them, you can switch over sampling on and off by just hitting the Analog Obsession text. Okay, so that's about it. So let's take a listen to what it sounds like. So for this video, I've just given a 0.5 dB boost on the low and the high end, so just a very subtle smile, and I've just matched it up, and I'm running on the black model at the moment. That's actually ended up being my favorite one through my sort of experiments this morning, but I'll take you through obviously the grey and the blue as well, so you can take a listen to those three different emulations and see what you think. So I'll kick things off with the black, and then we'll go through the grey and the blue. So, but for starters, let's have a listen to this mix without KONSOL on. Okay, let's bring KONSOL on. Out. So there you go. I think good results and getting more punch from the mix, certainly getting some of that glue as well, which we're looking for from this kind of plugin. So next up, what I'm going to do is compare KONSOL to SDRR, which is the plugin which I've been putting on my Mixbus for the last few years. It's a great plugin. I really love the Klanghelm stuff. As you can see, side by side, it's a lot more complicated looking. There's a lot more options and a lot more tweaking you can do, but essentially doing the same job. The biggie in terms of difference, point of difference, is that we've got a VU meter, so we can really optimize our mix going through SDRR. Okay, so let's have a listen to the two of them. I've kind of set them up very similarly. Both have got 0.5 dB boost on the bass and treble, and I'm using a preset which I've always used as a starting point with SDRR, which is Master Mix Bus Polisher. Then it's a case of just optimizing the plugin using the trim control and the VU meter. I've actually dialed back a bit this crosstalk area just to make it a little bit more subtle as well. Other than that, it's pretty much, I think, as the preset comes, I've probably dialed the drive back a fair bit as well. But I've kind of tried to keep these fairly similar for this test, just so you can, you know, really make a reasonably fair comparison. Okay, so let's just kick things off. We'll listen back with the mix with neither of these plugins on, and then I'll bring in SDRR, and then I'll bring in Analog Obsession. I'm using the black emulation, as that kind of has been my favorite one to my ears. So let's crack on. So here's the mix with neither of these plugins on. So bring in SDRR. KONSOL. SDRR. Okay, so I'm finding, my ears are finding with console, I'm getting more punch. I'm finding the low end and the low mids are also being preserved a bit better. Now, I don't know whether that's just because I'm really used to SDRR and I kind of already am preloaded to know a couple of things which I've not so keen on about what SDRR does, and I can hear that punch coming through from Analog Obsession, and I really like that, particularly around that low end. So I'd be really interested to hear, what your ears are hearing and what you're hearing between those two in comparison. Got to say, I really do like KONSOL right now, and it's certainly a plugin which I'm going to be using for the next few mixes and just get used to that, replacing SDRR and see how those mixes sit. So it'd be interesting to see for me if I end up sticking with KONSOL. I've got a feeling that I might. I really like its simplicity as well. Flexibility is great with SDRR, but I really like the simplicity of KONSOL. So, they're both two great plugins. It's a bit tough to choose between the two of them. So why not have both? SDRR is very inexpensive. Again, Analog Obsession is technically free. You can grab it for free right now. Again, if you really enjoy the Analog Obsession plugins, then I really do recommend throwing a few quid every month the way of the Analog Obsession Patreon page. I hope you found that review and comparison useful and interesting. Again, if you've got experience using SDRR, if you've got experience using KONSOL, really love to hear your thoughts. Also really love to hear what you thought about that comparison, what your ears can hear, what one you preferred, and indeed if you're using a different desk emulation, console emulation, please do put it in the comments box below, and I'd love to go and check it out. Hope you found that useful. My name's Johnny Good for Real Home Studio. Please remember to like, subscribe, but most importantly, have yourself a great day.